What's up? Happy Thanksgiving. This is Brian Funk, and I want to make some Ableton Live instruments using the sound of a turkey for Thanksgiving. I'm going to take these turkey samples and put them in Ableton's simpler device to make some playable instruments, and then I'll even put them inside of Wavetable and show you how you can use these samples, or any sample, to make your own wavetables and make some really cool sounds. You can download them from the link in the description, and I'm going to start making them now. Let's see what we can come up with. So I've got two samples of turkeys that I got from freesound.org. One is from Dr. Doofus, and it sounds like this. Turkey in a barn. And this one is called Turkey Call by Pesticide X. So two different sounds. One is more ambient with some natural reverb, and the other one sounds very close up. I'm going to hit Command F to get into my browser search and load a simpler onto a new track. Let's start with the one in the barn. It's got some nice natural ambience, and hear what that sounds like. We want to find a nice spot that we can loop. I think right there. I'm going to loop this. Let's try one of the warp modes. Let's try beats. Maybe texture. How about complex? All right, I think we can work with that. Now, I'm not getting any kind of readout from the tuner, so I'm going to bring in this operator tuner. I made a little template called operator tuner, and it's just one track with the operator on it and a MIDI clip that has a C playing. So I can play this C, and now I can compare my pitch to the operator's C. It sounds kind of close. Let's also try bringing in an EQ8 and just looking at where the fundamentals are on this sound here. So right about here, I'm seeing somewhere around a C, which means I'm close. Just kind of use our ear. Sounds flat. Sharp. I think somewhere around there is nice. It's kind of like tuning a guitar string in this way. Let's think about some of the things we want to do with this sound. I'm going to map some macros. We're going to group this, and I can simply right-click things and assign them to macros. And I think I want control of all of these parameters here for my amplitude envelope. Be nice to be able to bring this in like a pad, give it some kind of release. That sounds kind of nice. I might even stick this EQ right at the end here just to take out a little bit of those low frequencies. A little bit of rumble in the sound. I'm also going to want control over my filter. So let's set this up to be the MS2 filter. I like that one. We'll give ourselves the filter resonance. And maybe we'll even do our filter envelope as well. Turn that on and map that here, and I'll also map the decay time. So now we've got this kind of fading in sound here. I can adjust the filter, increase some resonance, and if I turn up the filter envelope, we'll get some movement on that filter. And you can even see it happening with our EQ. The frequencies get cut off over time. The more drastic I do that, the more you see it happen. I'm going to increase the release. I'm going to actually tie this release to the release of the amplitude. We'll just rename that release. This way it all kind of moves together. We've also got 8 other macros to play around with. So I think a reverb might be kind of nice for this sound. Let's bring in our old pal reverb. after this. And I'm going to do something a little fun with reverb. I'm going to create an audio effect rack. I'm going to bring a phaser in there before that. Let's just give some extra movement to that reverb. And I'm going to crank this all the way up to 100%. I'm going to create a new chain. And now I've got two chains. I've basically doubled the signal. I've got the clean signal and I've got this reverbed out one. We can create a nice dry wet effect here by selecting these chains and bringing them here. And I can put my reverb to, let's do this. I'm going to have my reverb start just there. We'll put this long fade and I'll do the same thing here in the opposite way. And now let's just turn our filters down a little bit or up. And we can hear the effect of this going into phaser reverb land. So I'm going to map this to macro 1 of this audio effect rack. We can call this we can call this phase verb. And this control now brings in our phased reverb. And maybe we'll give a control for, say, the reverb size, the decay, actually. And that might be plenty for that. And we can just trim this down to 2 macros and close this up. So now we've got our phase verb. And I'm going to map these to macros 9 and 10. It might be nice to have a delay on here as well. And we'll keep this relatively simple. And just a little modulation on the time to give us some pitchiness. And I'll map this to 11. And we'll maybe map the sync rate as well as the feedback. So we have some control over that stuff. And this is going to be delay, dry, wet, delay, time, and delay, feedback. I'm going to rename the rest of them too, just so we keep things tidy. We got some choices for other effects. I think I might want some kind of tremolo to happen after all this delay. I'm going to set this to the saw wave, and if I turn this up, we get an auto panning effect. But if I bring the phase down to 0, now we've got a kind of tremolo thing. And I kind of like this ratcheting effect we get from the saw. We get totally different effects depending on which shape we use. We can even play around with the shapes as well a little more. But I think I'm going for this kind of spiky sound there. So let's map both of those controls. And maybe to top it off, we'll do a chorus ensemble right at the end, and we'll just give ourselves control over the dry wet. Give it a little warmth. And let's name these. We'll call this tremolo. This will be tremolo depth and tremolo rate, and this will be chorus. It's always nice to color code things, so let's give ourselves some nice fall Thanksgiving colors. I'm keeping the envelope for volume all one color, and then maybe our filters stuff will be another color. This way I know I'm working with the filter. Then we got our phase verb, we'll make it another one, and our delay, we'll say a yellow right there, and maybe the tremolo is a sort of greenish brown color, and we'll give a separate color for chorus. We'll make that a nice brown. And we've got a pretty cool rack here ready to go. I might also just color these so I know what's all connected. So we'll color those. That indicates that those are connected to those macros. We can then kind of break everything down and close this up. We've got ourselves an instrument. Bring that tremolo down a bit. So let's make some macro variation presets for this. I'm going to make this into what I would consider kind of like an initialized patch. So we'll close all our filter stuff, bring our reverbs down, our chorus, our delay, tremolo, all of that. And our attack as well. And let's make a new macro. There we go. And now let's do another one. Let's go back to that pad we had before. So give it a nice long attack, nice long release. Bring the filter down a little. And a nice long filter envelope decay. About some reverb and some phaser. A little touch of delay. See how that tremolo sounds. And some chorus. Cool. And then we just click this little camera to capture that snapshot, and we've got a variation. I might call this Space Turkey. Sounds very spacey. This will just be Turkey. And we can make another one. Let's make a pluck sound. So I'm going to turn our attack all the way down so we get some nice instant attack. Bring our sustain down, and then our decay. And let's also maybe just turn down some of our spatial effects here. Sounds kind of cool so far. Giving us some faster movement on this filter. Bring the release down to be about the same as the decay. Cool. So now we've got a pluck. And click our little snapshot there. We'll make a new one. And now we can play around. Let's try random. If we click this, it will randomize our sound. And there you go. There's something I would never make on my own. It's kind of cool. It's like a bit of a riser. A little tremolo on there. I love it. So we're going to call this Rocket Turkey and save that. Let's do that one more time. Let's randomize this variation, see what we get. Well, that's a pretty sound. Maybe a little less on this. A little more sustain on here. And we've got a lot of tremolo, but at a really low rate. Maybe bring in a little phase verb. Ooh, so nice. So a lot of that magic's happening with that resonance up. It's a real gentle sound. Really cool. It's very ambient. Let's call it Ambient Turkey. And click that right there. Now we've got a nice BF Turkey synth that we can play around with. Just to review some of our sounds, we got the Turkey. And we got Space Turkey. And we'll go to Pluck Turkey. Rocket Turkey. That's fun. And ambient turkey. Really spacey turkey sounds. I'm going to create a new MIDI track, and this time I'm going to bring in Wavetable. One of the cool things about Wavetable is you can bring in your own samples for Wavetable. So I'm going to bring in our turkey samples here, put these guys in. Let's just see what this first one sounds like. Got the ability to control this here. Pretty interesting sound. Let's play around with these effects here. Getting a little more tone out of that. Cool, that's interesting. That's a turkey call. And let's hear what the other one sounds like. And maybe we'll try one of these effects as well. How about classic pulse wave kind of movement here? Nice. Bring in the other one. Yeah, we have play around with these sounds a little bit with their oscillator positioning. I love the unison on Wavetable. Kind of a nice buzzy electric piano sound, FM piano. And maybe we will pull this down a little bit with the filter. Again, I'm going to go with the MS2. Just love that filter. Just to get rid of some of that higher stuff. Play around with our envelope here a little bit. Maybe this is more of a key that fades out a bit over about 6 seconds. And I'm going to modulate the filter with that a little bit. As the keys are first struck, the filter opens and then closes a bit. Maybe we'll even influence that a little with velocity too. The more I hit the keys, the more I open the filter. It's a bit much, I think. You can hear a big difference, especially in these high notes. Kind of cool, makes for some nice expressive playing. Nice. I love this sound already. Let's give it some macros. So we're going to group this. You can also do Command G, much faster, but whatever. We can play with the attack, the decay, sustain, release, I think are all nice controls to have. We probably want control over the filter and its resonance. I'm going to crank a little bit of filter time here. So we're getting even more movement on our filter. I'll bring up the release also. We could go. This allows us to get a little more distance. I think we're going just a little too far, so let's dial that back. So when I play real soft, I get these nice mellow sounds. When I play harder, So soft to hard. Very nice. One of the cool things about Wavetable is we've got 2 filters. We can use filter 2 to just sort of mellow out things if we want. We'll use that right there. I want to give this a little bit of a lo-fi vibe, so I'm going to play around with just a little randomization on the pitch. It's far too much. Let's try 0.1. We can go up to 0.2. Let's see the difference. A little more than I want, so I'm sticking with 0.1. Yeah, I might just put a little randomness on like the frequency of the filter. Both of these maybe. A little bit on these oscillator positions. Let's do the same thing for number 2. Oscillator position 2, just a little bit of randomness. So things are just a little different every time I play a note. You can see I'm controlling the oscillator 1 position with my slide on push. Let's maybe put that on oscillator position 2 as well. But instead of 33 up, let's do 33 down. So they will kind of both move in opposite directions. Maybe I mellowed this out a little too much. I'm going to bring in the hybrid reverb, and I'm going to use its shimmer. So let's give this just to the algorithm and bring over shimmer. That will increase the pitch of the reverb. Map that reverb to macro 8 and some other macros that might be kind of fun to have control over. I think let's put the oscillator volumes. I'm going to map LFO1 to the fold parameter on oscillator 1. I'm going to map LFO2 to the sync parameter on oscillator 2. We'll give them like 50 or so. And then we'll map the speed and the amount of LFO1 and the speed and the amount of LFO2. So this should give us some fun sounds. And we'll color these again, some nice fall colors. We'll fold that up nicely and we'll call it Turkey on the Wavetable. And let's look at our snapshots. So let's start with this. And let's make a new one. Make a pad. Lots of shimmer verb. turkey pad. Let the random control see what we get. So that's almost like angelic turkey. Save that one. Let's do a new one. Let's hit random again. I kind of liking the sound of like a mellow pluck here. Let's bring this up a little bit. Dreaming turkey. And let's try one more. Open these filters, see what we got. Bring the release down a little on this. Lots of movement on this as you start playing around with the MPE controls. And let's give it a little shimmer. We'll save that variation. Call it lead turkey. Nice. While I was at it, I got maybe a little carried away and made a couple more of these turkey instruments. I got two of them for you. One is called Cosmic Turkey, and it's got a whole string of effects on it afterwards that you can check out. And another one is a Wavetable synth called Turkey Gravy. And that is the collection of turkey instruments. Hope you enjoy them. They're available for free download on my site, brianfunk.com, as well as a lot of other Ableton Live packs that are both free and for sale. Thanks so much for watching. Happy Thanksgiving.